Ladies and gentlemen, every year I like to try to improve the channel, and what you're seeing now is my latest improvement. So I bought a massive, and I mean massive, new camera lens for the camera. So same camera, different lens, I can pop it up and show you the difference now. The camera, it can go real close, so it's a macro lens. This is a 1cm ruler, but that's just the one on the 1cm. It can zoom in real well. And you can see here we've got a massive difference in size. So this is the current one. What you're seeing now, the huge lens, it makes the camera about 30 centimeters long, and this is my original one, the one that's been running on the channel for quite a long time. It is a baby, just the stock lens. So we're able to get real up and close. This isn't even up and close. You saw that little ruler marking, it can go in much closer than this, but have a look at it. I can still improve it a little bit. I don't have a polarizing filter for it at the moment, so I'm not able to get that super contrast, but we'll go through and have a look at a bunch of stones. So here's a nice Queensland Boulder Opal. A lot of these have been on the channel, and I think I might be able to revive the Instagram page with all of this, because the macro lens gives you real nice close-up details. And it's just an amazing thing to play with. Hopefully I can get it mastered pretty well. Been playing with it all weekend, and hence I'm releasing this video now, but it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one, very different, but we'll get there. Next up, this is a tiny little Ethiopian crystal opal that I worked on the channel a while ago. So unlike the other massive boy that couldn't fit on the screen, this one it has far less problem with, and just watch the colors dance. Here I've just got a pendant coming up. A little bit of Coober Pedy pendant. I think this was from the Blacklighters, but I wanted to show this because you can see those tiny little felt bristles from the container it's been on. This is still not as close as you can get. We can get right in on a single one of those bristles and a little bit of the color play behind it. It's not a microscope, but man is it close. And here we've got a nice Coober Pedy. This one has incredible play. This was a piece of shell that I worked on the channel a while ago. It's got the claw scratches across it. A very interesting pattern, and when it's on a rotating table like this, it is super cool to watch the colors just play with each other as it does a 360. You can't watch diamond do this, and this is why this is my king gemstone. I love opal, and I can really show off why with some of this footage. And this lens is going to really help me with that. And have a look at this, even the triplets. I know, I don't like triplets. I've never liked triplets. I don't know if I ever will really like triplets. But even the triplets look pretty funny on this camera lens, and I gotta say it looks much cooler than when I'm holding this stone in my hand, because yeah, it doesn't, you can't rotate it like this so easily in your hands, but it does actually have some sort of value in it, even though it's 99% a glass lens. And then here we go again, just another example of just the color just dancing in these opals. It's just got a colourful fire in it like no other stone. This is a piece of Queensland Boulder Opal, a really dark one, so it really makes the colours leap out. The contrast is just amazing, and I'm sure I can get this a little bit better after playing with the lens and buying a filter for the front of it. We'll also be able to get rid of that glare that you can see in a lot of these images rolling around the stone as well. Coober Pedy White Belemnite. So this one is the one that I use for the logo on the channel. It's far more white opal than it is crystal opal. The crystal opal ones are a bit higher value, but this is still one of my favourite stones. A piece given to me by Julian that I worked on very early on in the channel, or maybe only a couple years ago. It's been a while, and it was nice digging it out and having a look at it again and chucking it under the macro lens, because it's just such a nice piece. The other side's very different, and I recorded that as well, but we'll just show this side. It is the side with the chunkier colour. The other side goes pinfire. Massive lightning ridge that I worked on the channel. So this one originally came from Black Opal Direct and then found its way over in the USA, and then from the USA back to me. It's not the perfect stone, but it was a really fun project, really good carving, and it's pretty big, and it just shows that I can fit big pieces on this. I can use this lens from a really far distance and then it just works like a normal lens, or I can use it from just a couple centimeters away and really dive into a stone. It is real nice, and on a really uneven stone like this, I'm sure if I had a filter to remove some of these reflections from coming through, it would be super cool. And the reflections are good anyway, because it shows you how uneven this stone is. A recent work, the Mintabie stone, one of the ones that Pulitzer sent me, one of the most uneven ones. A really fun stone, and you can just see it here. It's got actually a fairly strange body tone color. It is almost like a green yellow body tone. I thought it was a lot more white, but yeah, it's a dark base, but it's just got so much color in it that it tinges kind of green yellow. which I didn't notice until I was filming it with the macro lens, but some nice fire in there, some beautiful colour, mostly the warm tones. Another Pulitzer one, so the arrow opal head that he sent me as a bit of an example, something that I've been studying a lot and following very closely to try to get mine looking half as good. I haven't done any opal ones yet, but I have done a couple with obsidian and a couple other random flinty style stones. And then just mixing it up a little bit more, you can see here a doublet, so nice solid piece of opal on top, just really thin, probably fairly crystal, but I didn't make this one so I didn't get to see it beforehand, and then that's just glued onto a potch backing. Actually, in this case, I think it's a black glass with a black epoxy behind it. That's what you get. And studying under the macro lens, it does actually look pretty cool. Definitely miles better than the triplets. I've got a lot of time for doublets, not so much triplets. At least here you're seeing just exposed opal. It's a huge plus in my mind for the doublets versus triplets argument, but they've all got their place, and now this one's place is in front of the macro lens. Another dark Coober Pedy. This is one that I worked really early on in the channel. It's a stone that I use to test lighting because it changes colour when you more tilt it rather than rotate it. When you rotate it, it's kind of evenly dancing between the red and the blue. You kind of see it a bit, but if you do tilt it backwards and forwards, it goes from full green to full red. It's a very interesting stone. Very good for testing colours because I can see whether the light is really helping the colours pop out or not. It's how I decide which light panels to buy, actually. Bit of matrix, bit of Andamooka matrix. Now this one's a really nice piece sent over by Riley Gunn over on 53 Frogs Opal Auctions. It's almost got my favourite pattern in it. It's a little bit of a weird shape, so I can't quite call it the ideal jigsaw, but there are a couple jigsaw pieces in there, and jigsaw is by far my favourite pattern in opal. Of course, this one is a treated piece, but it hasn't been resin coated, so it is just a raw, unworked piece, so I've still got to cut it up and then probably repolish it, well, retreat it and then polish it, possibly even resin stabilise it, which I can do very soon on the channel. And then another Coober Pedy Belemnite. I got a couple pieces out for this video. This is only a small segment, but it's a really cool piece. I always love this one, and I work this one on the channel as well. Then we go some more common opal and less precious opal. So by common opal I mean it doesn't have that player colour, but you can see here there's plenty of play in this stone. This is a Dendritic Opal. You can see all the little dendritic bits. Very cool stone. I love this material. One of my favourite stones is a Dendritic Opal. Not this one, but it's been featured on the channel before if you dig around. Very cool. And the round stones look really cool under the macro. An Australian pink opal. A fairly dark piece. Not too bad. I use these for practicing wire wrapping mostly because I've got them in a whole bunch of shapes, and I'll just show two in this video. But yeah, really nice. This one's a dark pink, and then we'll get a lighter pink one up in a second. Here's the lighter pink one, still from the same place, same material, just a little bit different. This one's pretty freckled as well. So even in the pink opal world, everything does vary a lot. And pink opal's not only from Australia, it's just one of the places you can get it. Over there in Western Australia. Speaking of other places, way over in the USA, the Owyhee Opal. Never know if I'm saying it correctly. I think it's a Native American name, but really cool material. Always looks like a picture stone of a beach or waves crashing on a beach. It's really cool. I do love this stuff. I really need to get more of it. Actually, I should get Nick Hoops to paint me a painting of one of these because that would be super cool. Then, another country. We're going to Tanzania for some Tanzanian green crystal opal. Almost looks like a chrysoprase. They do get very often mixed up, and there's some research papers on the two of them showing the differences. So there is a physical structural difference, but it does look very similar, and to me, I really like the crystal ones. You can get ones that are more of a matte, dull, non-transparent green. Looks a lot like jade, actually. And last but not least, one of the other interesting common opals is the Mexican purple opal, or Morado Opal. A really interesting stone, no two pieces look alike, and that's it. So hopefully you guys look forward to these macro shots, and I'll be bringing more on, and I can probably make a whole bunch of shorts and revive the Instagram channel with it, because it's nice to have just a rotating picture of really close up with an opal. Catch you around, back to carving.